I've ever done is to be a caregiver. The most rewarding thing I've ever done is to be a caregiver. Mr. Toastmaster, welcome guests, Roughriders, and whatever else I'm supposed to say. Randy was diagnosed. Randy, my wife of 33 years. Woo! 35 more years living together, working together 24 years. The title of this speech, A Small Miracle. You just heard it. 33 years married, are you kidding? Working together 24 years? Whoa! The hardest thing, though, is being a caregiver, because it's painful to see somebody you love in pain. The new normal for us, for Randy and I, has been changing very rapidly over the last few years. As I mentioned, Randy was diagnosed in 2003. I'd say it's been about 4 or 5 years that it's become a little more difficult. Some of you have been caregivers. Absolutely, some of you will be caregivers. The number one thing I will say to you, who takes care of the caregiver when the caregiver is giving care? You got to take care of you. You have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first, because otherwise you can't do anything to help the other person. That's another miracle, is we've been really good at dealing with what is, because it is. Whatever things are happening. I wish they weren't, and that's somewhere over here. Going over here of the future, of what's going to be, and this and that gets me too nervous. When I stay focused, in the middle, right here, I love Randy. I love you.
I love you.
When I met Randy, I was in lust with Randy. It's been, I guess, a few years later then we started really liking each other better. And I'm so grateful that we did a lot of stuff. I mean, we traveled a lot for work. We spent time in the back end. We met and married in Fire Island, and we spent 17, 18 summers in Fire Island. We were in Anguilla when we were living large, 12, 13 times, whatever it was. Life changes, and you adapt to it. The single best thing that I've done was join a Parkinson's support group. JCC, NYU Medical joint venture at 76th Street in Amsterdam. And it was a therapist, a MSW, PhD therapist, and 12 of us. And then it became 8. 8 women and me. I learned a lot about myself in that group, and also hanging out with 8 women. The group taught me a lot, and this is what happened. Every Friday when I went to a meeting, I came home depressed, because the wives of the husbands were way more along the way than where Randy was then. And I would say to Randy, you're not there now, let's do. And for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever, we still did a lot. And that's where I learned, take care of yourself, because you're no good too. Randy, your caregiver, if you're not taking care of yourself. Empower is the word of the day. Absolutely, this place has empowered me. Absolutely, that group has helped me. And then I go to talk therapy. That's been one of the greatest things over the last 2 years that I've done. But the single best thing that I do to take care of myself, I go to the gym. I know how to go to the... Did you just put up a green card? No. I'm in the moment, you see? Listen, I'm trying to make this, like Martin asked me, I'm trying to get some levity to this. I'm not sure where it is, because sometimes I can be so serious. But I've been much better at staying in the moment. Yes, we've been both better. What is let's deal with it. We've had some nice little miracles. I told you the first miracle is us being married for 33 years is beyond. The other is us working together beyond. But another simple miracle is that we've been spending much more time together, doing very little. And it's enough. I'm so grateful for the time we have together, the quality time. If you get nothing else out of this little speech, tell those you love them before it's too late. Leave no words left unsaid. So the other miracle that happened just recently, we were talking to a woman who, Randy Joy Epstein, used to be a member of this club. We went out to dinner with her, then she took us out to a Shabbat dinner, and it was wonderful. And we're talking about 3 months later, she gets back to us and says, my uncle died. He has an electric wheelchair, scooter. We just had to get it from Brooklyn. It has changed our life. That's the other small miracle. One of the things that was happening, Randy uses a walker. When we have to go a little bit further, a wheelchair. One of the things that I so missed was holding Randy's hand. I mean, just walking down the street holding hands. A few weeks ago, we went to Riverside Park for the first time in about 2 years. Because the hills in Riverside Park, you just can't get back down to a wheelchair. But with this electric scooter, Randy calls it Rainbow. We get down there, and we're riding along to go down to where the water is. Randy rides it, steers it with her right hand. With her left hand, she reaches out. Well, let's just make the experiment. And I take her hand, and we're going along, holding hands. It wasn't in any way my picture of what it would look like, but it felt great. Sometimes we have to give up our pictures and take things the way they are. I'm eternally grateful for all the people in my life who have helped me, guided me to this place now. I'm eternally grateful that we met and married. That is a small miracle. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
And once again, please give Robert some feedback on his speech, and then you can tear that